I was muted because I muted myself. So welcome everybody. Fail start. Yes. Start fail. Hashtag fail start. Hashtag team start is where that's at. So welcome everybody to the live stream. I'm JL. If this is your first time here, pleasure to have you here. As you can see, my setup just keeps changing. Check him out. Jason, back in the back. He finally came in the mail. He's all set up. If you haven't seen him yet, I think he looks pretty badass. And I got my new chair. Oh, yeah. Really happy with this bad boy. Got my new chair in, so it's so comfortable. It has the lumbar support I need for an old man like I am. So I have a fantastic stream set up. It's going to be an absolute lot of fun. And before we jump in, let's say hi real quick, as is the norm. Let's say hi to everybody in the over there in the live chat. Let's see what's going on. Sir Pika Pup, I haven't seen you in a minute. Says, what? Can I catch a live stream? Yes, you can. I'm so glad you're here, Sir Pika Pup. So good to see you. Cindy Johnson is in the house. Good to see you, Cindy Johnson, as is Clive Wells, reminding me that ghosts are alternative energy. Appreciate that. John Eagle's in the house. Good to see you, John Eagle, as well as Chris Durham Music Channel, who was listening to Crafty's stream earlier about that the book, I guess the book reveal, which is pretty cool. Good to see you, Chris Durham. Dib's in the house. Good to see you, Dib. Sean Alexander, a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Sean Alexander, for all the support. I do appreciate it. And of course, if you are a member of the Godless Army, if you are a member of my channel, you get access to all of the very cool emojis that I have made for you, like Kent Hovind behind bars, Darth with red duct tape on his face, or the super popular Cry Tangelo emoji, which I made specifically for him. So, and the Jordan's in the house. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Charlie Welch, the only man you never make a bet with, also a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much for the support. I do appreciate it. And H. Jasper E., another member of the Godless Army. Thank you, sir, for being here. Robert Caslow says, what's up, my globetards? Heretical globetards. That's to you, sir. But I appreciate you being here, Robert. Demon Orb's in the house. Good to see you. Bam. And, of course, yes, I was muted. I apologize. I think I got it sorted out. Nimrod's in the house. Says hello to everyone. And then God Kval Alafopa. I don't know if I said that right. I probably fucked it up. But I appreciate you being here, bud. There's those emojis. I love them so much. Surf says, oh, Surf is not here. I apologize. Surf would like everybody to know that he is not here. So I appreciate that. Surf, President Starscream's in the house. Says, good greetings, everyone. Apparently, Galvatron has not found him yet. Robert Caslow, as he's steaming cup of reason, says, hey, JL, also a member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Aaron Reese, who is still stalking me. Oh, and Logical Hillbilly's in the house. Good to see you, Logical Hillbilly says, what's up? And Aaron Reese, both members of the Godless Army. I do appreciate it. And, of course, like I said, you have access to all the very cool emojis in case anybody comes in and wants to, you have all these cool emojis that I've made for you, with more on the way as we get more members. And then, of course, you get your badge, your channel badge, which is the evolving brain as the longer you are a member with me. So I appreciate y'all. And, of course, I see Lucas popped in and the Turtle Moves. Good to see y'all. I think I have a dog here. Dogs running around. Lucas says, I hear you're taking on Eric. I don't know which Eric you're referring to. I'm not taking on Eric Hovind. I do have a video coming up where I take on a bit of Orange. That should be interesting. So, Stellarium Celestia, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So, the first and foremost, what I like to do, this was a special treat for me because I have a special guest. As I mentioned in the description, is his first time. I think it's his first time coming on to have this kind of discussion on somebody's channel, to come on and do it live. I came across him on Facebook. And so part of I believe it's the Evolution, or it's like Creation Evidence Facebook page, and where creations get together. So we're going to have a chat with him. And Plot Hole, I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And will I play the trailer before or after my guest? Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to play the trailer. Probably after the guest, because I want to make sure that he's got plenty of time to talk about what he wants to talk about. So, without further ado, everybody, please give a warm welcome to Eric.
Hello.
How's it going, sir? Thank you so much for being here.
Going well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So, as I was letting them know, as I was telling them, came across you because I went onto I found that Facebook page by random. And I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. So I popped in there, and it really is more a lot of atheist bashing than it is like evidence for creation. But then I saw you pop in there, and you were friendly, unlike a lot of the people on there. And I was like, hey, does anybody want to come on to my channel? And you're like, sure, I'll do it. Cool. And that's awesome, because even the admin of that group doesn't want to. Like, he won't do it. So,
Wow. Wow. Well, you and I probably have a little bit more in common than you realize, because I'm not real popular within the church myself, because I differentiate myself from what most people call a Christian. I am a Christian, but what differentiates me from the rest of the pack is I actually believe the Bible, and I disregard people like, the money preachers and etc., these fake faith healers and etc. I think they're a bunch of charlatans, and I think most of the church follows them.
People like Kenneth Copeland and Joel
Absolutely.
Osteen and Creflo Dollar and these cats.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they do more to create atheists, if you don't mind me saying so.
No, I can see that. I can see that definitely, because they've definitely turned religion, the institution of religion, into big business.
Yes, and something to be laughed and mocked at, And if I didn't take God so seriously, I myself would mock and scoff. But you see, I do have enough experience with God personally. I try to let people know things in this sort of way. I don't find fault with anybody that's not a Christian, and I don't find fault with mockers and scoffers. I really do not, because I feel like we deserve a lot of what we get. What I do like to say is that there is a difference between people to whom God is a theological subject and people who have literally been touched by God and have developed well, this may seem cliche, but a real trusting relationship with God. And I consider myself to be the latter, and I consider most of the people that you run across on Facebook to be the former. So I probably catch more hell on Facebook than you do.
I don't know. The admin actually put limitations on how much I could respond to people. So I actually have a governor on how much I can actually talk to people on that. I'll hit a limit, and then I got to wait like 12 hours, and then I can start talking to people again. So it's really controlling over there in that respect. But so that's an interesting point, because while because you are a Christian and you believe in, obviously, you take the Bible extremely seriously. You believe in the authority of the Bible, the sovereignty of God. So, and you base this upon your personal conclusion. So essentially, to give you kind of an idea, so that's your position, but to give you kind of an idea of what I do here. So as you can see behind you in the background right there, it's called Bridge the Divide. So my primary content series is about bridging the societal divides that religious thought and religious dogmatism create, by bridging that with education, rationality, and reason. In other words, I don't have a problem. As an atheist, I don't have a problem with what people believe. People can believe whatever they believe. I support free thought. People can believe what they like. I have to draw the line, because there are people in this, for example, in this nation, in our country, there are people who are using that belief to justify action that irrational action that harms us. Like, just for example, we have people in Congress who are blocking common sense climate change legislation because they think God will never let it get that bad, or that they think that Christ is coming back in their lifetimes, so they don't have to do anything about it. So it's not going to be a problem. That's why. So, and down this road, we're leading to calamity because of these things. So, where the more rational position would be, even if God would never let it get that far, why don't we just take care of it ourselves to ensure that we don't lose anybody unnecessarily because we didn't pay any attention? Or if Christ may come back, but why not take care of it until, because we still don't have a date. It could be a long way away. We don't want, why not just kind of sustain things until he gets there? But there's a problem with that. And so I address that irrationality, and kind of by asking questions. essentially being like, what about this? What what have you considered this? What about this logical entailment, so on and so forth. So I guess the first place to begin is to ask you, as far as like God, like how do you define God? Like how do you approach it? How do you see it? Do you like straight from the Bible or?
Well, I let God manifest Himself because I believe that's what He does eventually for everybody. And let me explain my situation, my own personal situation. I can't explain how other people have come to Christ, but when I was 2 years old, I've literally lived a life that most people have told me was an Indiana Jones type life for real, minus the archaeology. But when I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with what do you call it? It's the blood cancer, leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was prayed for. My grandfather was probably the most humble man you would ever want to meet in your life. A very strong, quiet, humble country man. A man of his word. If he gave you his word on something, you could take it to the bank, brother. He would rather die than break his word. And so, these are things that were handed down to me that I found were ultimately very, very important. And he was a man of prayer, very soft-spoken, and a man of prayer and a man of faith. And when he prayed, he believed his prayers, and he believed he was asking the best for everybody. And he asked in humility. He was a man that could admit his own wrongs, although he tried very hard not to commit his wrongs. So these were things that I was brought up with, and I saw God answer his prayers. Personally, with myself, for instance, when I was 2 years old, healed of leukemia. And when I was 12 years old, I was laying on a hospital bed. I had been pushed off of a moving van and pretty badly injured. I literally died on the operating table. I didn't have no out-of-the-body experience, but I was brought back. I had my grandfather and several other people praying for me. And I recovered very, very quickly at 12 years old. When I was 6 years old, we went on a trip to my grandfather's farm, and nobody would tell me why. And when I got there, I found out that he and 5 other men that he worked with had been hit by a train, and all 5 of the other individuals were killed, and he was the only one that survived, and he was sent home from the hospital to die. Back in the day, this is what they did. They sent you home to die. And he was in a coma, ready to die, and I went outside crying as a 6-year-old, begging God not to take my grandfather, to give me more time with him. And God gave me another 33 years with him. So then when I was 20, I had been a believer for a very long time, ever since I was a child. But I'd fallen away in my teen years and young 20s. I fell away, went my own way because of confusion, because I was trying to learn, trying to grow, and my confusion was in the church. Every time I tried to ask questions, theological questions about the scripture, I could ask 20 different pastors the same question and get 20 different answers. And you could tell, you talk to a lot of people, I'm sure you can tell when people are BSing you. And
well, I wouldn't say it's not a matter. I mean, sure, we could say, when someone's like really bad at lying like this.
Yeah.
But my more concern is with, yes, I totally agree that people have personal experiences. My question is, have they critically evaluated those experiences? So, and I compare things like, like you said that your grandfather was sick, your grandfather was in a bad way. You said you prayed for more time, and then he lived another 33 years. So with the so I had to look at it. Okay, so your grandfather didn't just like not receive, because you said your grandfather was sick, right?
No, he was hit by a train.
Oh, he was hit by a train. Okay.
Along
So your
with
grandfather was badly injured, but he made it through. Now I'm assuming he didn't he wasn't pulled out of the car and then or pulled out of whatever and then went directly home with no medical intervention and survived. He went to the hospital, doctors worked on him, he recuperated, he healed, and he survived. So my question is, how do we determine it was God and eliminate the
it was more like he was sent home, or he was the people came and tried to rescue the people that were hit by the train, and some of them they could see were immediately dead. Some of them, there was 2 or 3 that they weren't sure of. My grandfather was one of those. They were taken to the hospital. The other 2 were pronounced dead at the moment at the hospital. And he wasn't dead, but he was expected to die and sent home to die. So, but that's far from my experience.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like you could do this with all of your experiences, with when you were young and you were sick, because I'm certain that if you had leukemia,
you haven't heard anything yet, brother. If this will blow you away, because
Eric, it's not all of your personal experiences that. You could run down all of these, and all of these are anecdotes. They're anecdotes of your life. Okay.
Well, if you were to tell me a story of your parents, that would be anecdotal.
You're recounting your life to me, though.
You're asking me to describe to you why I have a relationship with God in the same way you have a relationship with your parents.
There's the issue, Eric, is that everything you've based everything that you have based it, all of the evidence that you have this relationship based on, it sounds to me like confirmation bias.
Well, that's because you haven't even let me get halfway through my story yet.
Well, unless God came down. I'm just trying to keep it straight. I'm just trying to keep straight because I don't live stream for 4 or 5 hours. We got to get to the heart of it, and the heart of it is.
I don't think you want to get to the heart of it, but we'll find out.
We do. Well, I do, because the question is a matter of evaluation.
Yes.
Did you evaluate how you critically evaluated the thing? How did you eliminate the possibility that it was something else and confirm the possibility that it was God?
Well, have your parents ever spoken to you?
Of course they have.
Prove that to me.
I can give you a recording.
Prove it to me.
I can give you a recording.
Prove to me that's not made up.
Well, if you were standing there and you could
prove to me that your parents have spoken to you. I want you to prove
to me. Eric, it is provable.
No, it isn't.
Yes, of course it is.
You can't prove to me that your parents have spoken to you. Do it. I'll wait.
I certainly can.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
I can play a recording for you of my mother speaking to me.
How does that prove anything? How do I know that's your mother?
Well, that's why I said we can eliminate all that and just go to the absolute.
How do I know that's your mother? You can't prove to me.
Eric, calm down. You could literally be standing in the room and listen to my mother speak to me.
How does that prove to me that's your mother?
Then a genetic test.
I'm smiling. I'm not angry with you.
No, but a genetic test would prove that she's my mother.
And how do I know that you'll have that genetic test made? What if I die before you get that genetic test made?
It would literally. But that's the whole point. It is provable. Prove to me. No, but it is provable.
Okay, we'll prove it.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be proven now. It can be, because I can give you evidence. I can give you evidence of this.
But this is the point. Prove it now.
No, but the point now, it doesn't matter. The point is, no, you're saying now, that.
Would you like to hear the rest of my story?
Eric, I don't need the rest of your story, Eric. The point is.
So you didn't invite me on here to understand how I come to know God?
Of course I did. I'm asking you.
Okay, then let me finish my story.
Eric, how did you eliminate the possibility of that it was something else? That's the problem.
Because God spoke to me, brother, and I spoke to God.
How did you eliminate the possibility that wasn't a hallucination? Or are you talking to yourself?
Myself and my brother and our wives and our best friend and his girlfriend back in the 1980s, when I fell away from God. I fell away from God out of frustration because I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, and I thought pastors were just full of crap, to be honest with you. All of them that I knew were. And none of them could help me learn the scripture as much as I tried to get them to help me. So I just fell away in frustration. Then one day, I lived in a bar owned by my relatives, above a bar, actually. And my brother and our best friend and I and his girlfriends and our wives were all sitting together, and we were playing around. We were into martial arts. And my brother, quite frankly, broke my hand, my left hand. And it wasn't just a dislocation. It was broken right between the knuckle and the wrist. Two bones, actually, broken right between the knuckles and the wrist. We could literally move those bones around, and it immediately swelled black, blue, yellow, green, etc. So my brother says, well, we better get you to the hospital. And something was occurring at the moment that I couldn't explain. And all of a sudden, my hand, I extended my arm. I did that, but my hand healed. The bones popped right back into place in front of us. The bruise and the swelling disappeared in front of all six of us. And all six of us to this day, well, a couple of them are dead now, but all six of us to this day are saved. All six of us today will swear we saw that. That happened, okay? That was not a group hallucination.
Okay.
At that point, I heard a voice speak to me. I heard God speak to me, okay? Just like you would hear your parents speak to you. The only thing is, I was the only one that heard that. But
that's problematic. You see.
But what God said was, if you don't give me the glory for this, you're going to die. So at that point, enter Satan to try to take the glory for this act of God. My brother spoke up and he says, I haven't been able to do my high kicks for years because of these spurs on my knees. Hey, can you heal my knees? And I said, brother, what you just saw had absolutely not a thing to do with me. That was the power of God that healed my hand. And when I said that, the building that we lived in that was owned by my relatives shook so badly that the people in the bar came running upstairs to find out what was going on. And they saw everything was intact. So at that point, I knew God had spoke to me, and I asked everybody to leave, and I had a serious talk with God. And I told God, you have my attention. I don't know what's up. I don't know why I've got this warning, but I'm taking heed. I want you to teach me. If you'll teach me your word, I will live for you. So at that point, it was about 2 weeks later, we had all made plans to go out to California, and my wife and I at the time, we were hitchhiking. We hitchhiked from Wilmington, Ohio to Shreveport, Louisiana in record time. And then we caught a ride out of Shreveport going west by a fellow that turned out to be a serial rapist, murderer. And he pulled outside of Nacogdoches, Texas on Highway 10. He pulls a gun. This is still on police record by the way. He pulled a gun on us. He was going to rape her, kill us both. And I told him, quite frankly, dude, you're not going to hurt us. You're not going to rape her. You're not going to lay a finger on either one of us. And it's not me that's going to stop you. It's God that's going to stop you. I told my girlfriend, my wife, don't freak out. He can't touch you. And I reminded her of what happened. We gave God the glory for healing my hand. So we were going to live. I was not going to die. So come to find out about it wasn't long after that, just a few minutes later, my wife says, I've really got to use the bathroom. He wasn't going to let her. And she says, well, if you don't, there's going to be DNA all over your truck. So he gets out, he forces her out on his side, walks around to the driver's side, makes me open my door, has the gun pointed up at me as she goes between the tractor and the trailer, and she drops her drawers. I could tell when she stooped because his eyes followed her down to the ground. And then all of a sudden, he points his gun up at me and says, don't you even think about it. And I said, dude, I don't have to think about anything. I told you I'm not going to lift a finger. God's going to deliver us out of your hand. And it was at that precise moment that I cannot explain what happened to him, except just to say that he froze like a statue. And he froze so long, I didn't try to get away. I was not freaking out over him at all. I knew I was delivered out of his hand. I was freaking out watching this dude frozen for such a long period of time that when he finally started shaking his head and come to, my wife was gone. I didn't even hear her run up the road trying to flag down traffic, but that's exactly what she was doing. And
okay. Eric, I gotta jump in here. I've got to jump in here because this story is going on way too long. Okay, and there's problems.
I'm sorry, you're freezing up again, brother.
So, do I have you? Let me know if he froze or did you lose? Did we lose him or did you lose me? Because I'm still clear on my side. I think okay, there you are. I think you lagged out. So because we were clear over here. Okay, so Eric, there's problems all over this. There's a lot of assumptions being made with no evidence to back up those assumptions. Essentially,
no, I'm not assuming anything.
No, you did assume. You do assume because you.
No, I didn't assume anything. I told you everything.
Eric, you told me, you related the story to me, but you assumed that God intervened.
Yeah, you assumed your parents raised you.
But when looking at the situation, when you're in a heightened panic situation, we know that there are physiological.
I wasn't in a heightened panic situation.
Eric, stop interrupting me, please.
Well, you're just wrong. You're the one assuming, dude.
I'm not assuming. I'm looking at the. I'm looking.
You're assuming I didn't really hear the word of the Lord. You're assuming my hand was not really broken and 5 other people didn't.
Eric, you have to let me talk. You're muted right now. You have to let me talk. Okay, it's my channel. You have to let me talk. I have to be able. This is not for you to relate your life story to this.
Well, this is why I was invited.
I was invited to discuss what you believe and why.
Well,
and the whole point is, but I'm telling you, we can get to the end of this. If all of this is just personal experience, then it has no weight.
Well, I didn't expect it to have the weight to convince you, dude.
It shouldn't convince anybody.
Okay, that's fine. It convinced me. It doesn't have to convince you.
Well, I know, but
convince you is the evidence that you stand on for your beliefs. For instance, you believe as an atheist that abiogenesis occurred, yes?
In some fashion, yes.
Okay, now why is it that it's never been observed in nature and that it's never been recreated in a lab, and yet you believe the absurdity?
Okay, wrong. Okay, first off, the first point, very silly because no humans existed at that time, so there was no one there to observe it. The second thing is
why can't we observe it today?
We are currently in the process of replicating it right now at McMaster University.
That is a lie, dude. They are not.
Would you like the article that's been produced on it?
Let me give you something here.
No, Eric, don't jump off to something else.
You know who Craig Venter is.
Eric, do not jump off to something else.
I'm not. So you don't know.
No. I do know who Craig Venter is, but you jump to something else. Would you like the scholarly articles that have been published regarding the results at McMaster University?
Yeah, show me where they've created life.
They're on the process. They've already created protocells, dude.
No, show me where they've created life.
They're getting to that point. It takes
show
time.
Me where they. So they haven't created life.
They're on the way to doing it.
So they have not created life. Thank you. Okay, so you're assuming they're going to. Now let me ask you something.
They're replicating the process.
Let me ask you. You made.
Okay, no, Eric. You don't get to. You don't know. You're muted right now. You don't get to jump off. Nobody can hear you. You don't get to jump off on this issue because that's like saying I want a car. We're only halfway through with building a car, but I want a car now. It doesn't work that way. These things take time and a process. So just saying because, you haven't done it yet, it will get there.
To begin. When did it occur? What's that?
You're unmuted now.
Okay. So why do you not see abiogenesis occurring today? Why did it just suddenly quit?
What do you mean, why did it suddenly quit?
Why? Okay, you obviously believe it occurred once.
Because how long have human beings been on the planet?
What's that got to do with how long ago it occurred?
Because in between abiogenesis and now, the conditions for abiogenesis don't exist on the planet now.
Oh, then why can't they recreate them in a lab?
They are recreating it in a lab in the planet simulator where they are re-simulating the conditions of the early Earth.
And yet they haven't been able to replicate it yet.
They are already beginning. They're already up
yet
to
they have not done
Eric.
You're assuming they're going to.
Eric, Eric, stop interrupting me. Let me reply. Conduct yourself like the age you look. Okay? Conduct yourself like an adult. Okay. They are already up to protocells. These processes take time.
So you're an apologist for abiogenesis.
I'm not an apologist.
That's exactly what you're doing.
Eric, there are about 12 different ways that abiogenesis could have taken place. We don't know specifically which one it was. We are currently doing the work to figure out which one it was.
So how do you know it was any of them?
When we're able to replicate it, we will understand it.
You're assuming it.
No, because I'm not saying that they will or they won't. I'm saying we're working towards it.
So you assume it happened.
The evidence suggests that it happens.
You're assuming that it happened.
No.
And you have no proof that it did.
Eric, it's not about proof. It's okay. You're using proof incorrectly. Proof is in mathematics. When you say prove in science, you mean demonstrate, which is what they're currently doing.
You mean science hasn't proven you can control your blood pressure and heart rate, etc.
Science, and you're using proof wrong again.
I'm using proof wrong.
Eric,
only atheists have the problem.
Eric, stop and let me finish a thought. Okay.
Why is it atheists have problem with the word proof?
Because making determinations.
Because we can prove everything but what you believe.
Eric, stop interrupting me. Okay.
That's exactly why.
No, it's not, because these terms are very important. Because when you use them out of context, you come to the wrong conclusion.
Okay, speaking of using something out of context, we had a conversation earlier on the Tree of Life of Common Descent, and evidently you don't even know what that is.
I do know what that is, because I know what high resolution phylogenetic trees are. We don't use, guess what? We don't use the Darwin Tree of Life anymore, because the Darwin Tree of Life is wrong.
What do you mean the Darwin Tree of Life? You don't even know what you're talking about.
The Darwinian Tree of Life is wrong. We use phylogenetic trees now.
What is the Darwinian Tree of Life?
It was how Darwin displayed common ancestry.
What is the Darwinian Tree of Life? You don't even know what you're talking about.
It's how Darwin displayed.
Show me the Darwinian Tree of Life.
Eric, if you're going to be intellectually dishonest,
no, you are, dude. You're saying there's a Darwinian Tree of Life. That's laughable. There is. I'm laughing so hard at you.
Eric, stop. Eric, no one can hear you. You're muted. Stop. Darwin came up with the Tree of Life. It is in his book, Origin of Species. No one can hear you, dude. I can't hear you. No one can hear you. Darwin came up with the Tree of Life, his concept of common ancestry. Darwin was incorrect because he based his assumptions on what are called basically on morphology. Okay? He was kind of close, but he was wrong. Over 100 years have gone by where we have improved evolutionary biology, and we understand through phylogeny, through computational phylogenetics, how to make high-resolution phylogenetic trees that demonstrate common ancestry through genome sequencing.
You're just making me want to spit my coffee all over the place. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I do. I debate this.
What is the Luca?
The Luca is the last universal common ancestor.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. That's the Darwinian.
But guess what?
That is the Darwinian.
But guess what? You're muted again. Don't. The Luca is not the most ancient organism. The Luca is just the common ancestor for everything that's currently alive.
Who said it was? Who said that the Luca was the oldest ancestor, dude? I didn't say it. You're assuming again. You need to quit shutting me off and listen to the argument. No, you don't even know what the argument is. The argument is this.
You need to be able to have a back and forth. when I challenge, so no one can hear you. When I challenge something that you say, you need to let me finish. That's the problem.
Luca. That is
Now-
the Darwinian model.
Now
Okay?
you're unmuted.
Darwin postulated a Luca, last
Yes.
unified, common ancestor. So that is the Darwinian model. Now, Darwin isn't the only one that postulates a Luca. Dawkins agrees with him. Gould agrees with him. Just about every evolutionary teacher out there agrees with them that there is a Luca, last unified common ancestor. But I have it right here. If you can screen share a snippet from a 45-minute discussion between Craig Venter and Richard Dawkins and several others right here. I have it right here where Craig Venter, he is the world's foremost and most famous and sought-after geneticist in the world today, the most renowned.
No, he's not.
Oh, of course he is.
No, he's not. Francis Collins.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, he is on record telling these people at their own event that there is no Luca, last unified common ancestor. It just does not exist. There is no Luca. And it's genetics that prove there is no Luca. So if you take away the Luca, you take away the very basis of evolutionary teaching today. So this means that Dawkins is behind the times. You're behind the times. You guys are standing on ridiculous things that's outdated and outmoded. Now, would you like to hear it from Ventnor's own lips?
No, I've heard Ventnor's argument, and it's crap. So,
what's crap about it?
I've debunked it because he.
No, you've debunked it. Where's your credential?
Everyone has debunked it because he makes assumptions about
with what? Say it isn't.
Eric.
Where's your genetic
Eric, let me respond.
How did you debunk it?
Eric, can I respond? Eric, can I respond? Stop acting like a fucking infant.
Are you going to give me something credible other than your own opinion?
Stop acting like an infant.
So you don't have anything credible.
You're muted again. Stop acting like a fucking infant and let me respond. Craig Venter's arguments are based upon suppositions about things he cannot know, and he disregards areas of genetics in order to further his agenda because he is a young earth creationist. Anyway, I will share this with you. Do you know what that is?
Sir, you are a liar. Craig Venter is not a young earth creationist.
Do you know?
Craig Venter is.
Do you know what that is?
Sir, are lying.
Eric, do you
Craig
know
Venter?
Eric, do you know what this image is?
Just said Craig Venter is a young earth creationist.
Eric, do you know what this image is? You're muted again. All right, Craig Venter. Systemic Genomics, Craig Venter Institute, Individual Human Genome, Human Longevity, published books. And life and education, career. And Craig Venter is a proponent of intelligent design and young earth creationism. Anyway, shut the fuck up and look at the fucking image. Okay. So now you're unmuted. Eric, what is that picture I'm showing you right now?
You tell me, dude.
You tell me what it is. Tell me what that image is.
What? I'm just still amazed that you're trying to say Craig Venter is a young Earth creationist.
I
That's
just
absolutely
pulled it
ridiculous.
from his bio. So
That ain't from his bio.
Eric, what is that image that I'm
Craig
showing?
Venter is not a young Earth creation.
Eric, answer the question. You're muted again. Answer the question. What is that image I'm showing you?
I can't even see your image, dude.
It's on the screen. I'm sharing the screen.
I can't even see it.
You asked me to tell you what it is.
You gotta tell me what it is.
Yes, you can see it right there.
What? I don't see your image. I don't see nothing I can make out. What is it?
Okay, the circle image right here. I'm sharing my screen. Okay,
what
the circle image. Do you know what this image is of?
No, tell me.
It's a phylogenetic tree.
High
resolution phylogenetic tree determined by computational phylogenetics and genome sequencing.
Let me ask you something. What do you
guess
think?
What? Guess what? Guess what's there in the center?
What?
The common ancestor.
It doesn't exist, dude.
It does exist.
Genetically speaking, it does not exist. No, you're so far behind the times. It's incredible.
Nonetheless, nobody can hear you. So you have run on and on about things that you like, listening to people like Craig Venter. And you're right. Stephen Cup of Reason is correct. It is like talking to a brick wall. The dude was cool on Facebook. I thought he was going to be cool here, because everybody in this live chat can tell that he's literally just running his mouth. So here's the problem. You're still muted. Eric, you're muted. No one can hear you. I can't hear you. No one can hear you. You're a Muppet. So Stephen Cup of Reason is correct. It's like talking to a brick wall. It's hopeless. Just a lot of nuh-uh, but my holy book. I can't, people can't stand much more. People legitimately saying that you're senile. Because one, you won't let me, whenever I have a rebuttal to you, you won't let me speak. You keep running on and on and on. And here's the worst part of it, Eric. You legitimately think that your personal experiences are justification when they are actually like contradictory to it.
I see.
You've eliminated all you say you've eliminated the possibility of other things.
I see.
Have you done that?
Well, absolutely I have.
How did you eliminate the possibility that your hand was not as hurt as it was?
How are you going to prove to me you've talked to your parents?
If you're just going to be intellectual,
how are you going to prove to me that you've had?
Eric, you have to let me respond. Well, this is pretty, I mean, this is it. I thought that this guy was cool on Facebook. He apparently is not. So I do, I mean, you think I should just let him keep going? He doesn't realize he's muted. He doesn't see down there by his name on his screen that the mute button is engaged. What do you think? Yeah, I think y'all. I mean, I'll give him one more shot. No, he's still going. I don't know if we're going to get anywhere with this dude. I really don't. I don't think we're going to get anywhere. So this is this right here. This is theism. This is theism. This is a voter. This is a guy who votes. This is a guy who casts votes, and yeah, I'm thinking there's a deficiency here. So goodbye. Yeah. Yeah, he's out. Okay. Wow. Holy shit. He was okay. First off, my apologies. That guy was really cool on Facebook. Like, he engaged normally. But then this, holy shit. Yeah, that was fucking wild. So, and I think I'm going to, because he's contacted me on Messenger. I think I might have to block him there too, because I don't want him blowing up my Messenger at all hours. So yeah, let me see here. There. And then we're going to Yeah, that guy's not stable. So, anyhow, I didn't think. Damn right, Boomer. I got fucking catfished. Good to see you. So I see a lot of a bunch of people popped in here. I see Hot Topics debate and discussion. Good to see you there. I see Boomer. Good to see you. Beaver C. Thank you so much for joining. Tech is Life. Good to see you. Trevor Lunn. Got a bunch of people came in for the I guess the lack of conversation. So I do apologize about that. That was wild. Gonna go for it. Good to see you, Dean Kruger. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Gonna go for it. Says, don't apologize. This happens. They see an opportunity to spout nonsense and will not let you talk anymore, Jail. Yeah, that was hard to get a word in edgewise. And I don't want him like just rattling off his whole like. Bob Nodell says he's probably still mouthing off. He probably doesn't know I kicked him. So it's kind of like I didn't want him like recounting his entire life history. It's about how he comes to the conclusions he came to. So, and the George said, said, where'd the theist go? I had to boot him. I sent him back to his God. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a believer. That's a voter. That man casts votes in elections. Yeah. So that was insane. I thought it was going to be a little bit more stable than that. He obviously didn't know what a phylogenetic tree was. He doesn't understand the current science. So yeah. Nimrod says, next time, just interview your chair or your keyboard or your dog. Yeah, it probably would be more informative. Probably would be more substantive. Hey, dog, how's it going? So I'm glad that, yes, plot hole is correct. Who the fuck forgot to give Santa his meds? This is very, very true. That was insane. That was wild. Damn. Anywho. So, yeah, I thought that was going to go a little bit better. Stellarium Celestia says, my neural processors weren't designed for that level of ignorance. This is very true. Absolutely. And Cindy Johnson, don't remind me that there are voters like him. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought that was going to go a little bit better, but now he's probably going to go on the Facebook group and be like, don't jump on, don't go on there. He's just going to mute you and shut you down and not listen like that. Well, I'm not here to hear your fucking life story. If he is still happening to be watching, I don't think he is, but we're not here to hear his fucking life story. We're here to see if he has gone through the process of, critically analyzing his conclusions. And he obviously has not. The fact that he's quoting Craig Venter is absolutely silly. So Craig Venter, who runs the J. Craig Venter Institute, it's wild. This is one of those big examples of a person. He's a biotechnologist and he's a businessman. Is pretty much what it is. He's known for leading the first draft sequence of the human genome and assembled the first team to transfect a cell with a synthetic chromosome. So he's done some major work there. The problem is that he is he's a theist from the very, very beginning. So the conclusions that he is drawing that were pointed out to him by Richard Dawkins, and although I think a better person to have debated him would be Daniel Dennett, because Daniel Dennett knows this field better than Craig Venter does, is essentially that and it's okay, so see if I can explain this without getting too deep into haplotypes and shit like that. He believed that genetics could not sustain. Well, hang on a sec. No, wait, hang on a sec. No. Oh, wait, no. He's currently an atheist. So Venter is an atheist. So he's not a believer, but he doesn't believe. So what he was proposing, damn it. Oh, he became so he's an atheist, lives in La Jolla. Very cool. And he married Heather Kowalski. Genome scientist, microbiologist. Where was the issue that he came to in his conclusion? I think it was outward global ocean. No, that was part of that. Damn it. I may have to go back to it because Dawkins pointed it out. Dawkins pointed out specifically what was wrong with his conclusion, that he was eliminating specific data that was very, very important. But it's good to know that he's an atheist now. That's good to know. Let me see here. You probably still think Nimrod. He probably still thinks Trump is still president. Plot hole. He's a dishonest old fart. Stinks like sour laundry. Run through stale beans. Ew, gross. That's gross. Redding says, in a way, that was informative. Somebody let me know, who is go to jail Eric? Because I'm not debating that person. I'm debating Nephilim Free, January 1st. Well, at least, okay. We're scheduling it January. It's scheduled January 1st at 6 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. his time, because he's on the East Coast. And he may or may not show up. He has said that he doesn't like the format, that he disagreed, that he says he called it a bullshit format. And then he called it a BS format. And the format was this. It was, Nephilim Free. So the format that I suggested was because we both have arguments and we don't want to overtalk one another. And there's a lot of information to try and get across to the audience, because the debate is for the audience. The debate is not for us. So, hey, gonna go for it. Good to see you. It says, people would be surprised if he shows up. So the format was this. So let me know in the chat if you disagree with this. The format is a maximum 10 minutes for an intro. Is intro maximum 10 minutes. Position maximum 30 minutes to explain your argument. So position maximum 30 minutes. Open discussion, moderated rebuttal, where we ask a question and respond, and we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for a maximum of 15 minutes. Time not used in the position portion will be allocated to the rebuttal section. So it could be minimum 15 minutes and then increased, depending on how much we use. And then, of course, a brief, less 5 minute or less outro statement. That was the format that I think helps it the best. And it puts the onus on us to have coherent arguments that we present in our time, and to take notes as to what our opponent is saying, to pay attention and actively listen, so that we can ask questions about what they're saying in the rebuttal portion. And that would be hosted by MC Toon, moderated by Schrodinger's cat. So that's pretty much it. And that was presented to him to take place on the SC Toon show, January 1st. And he says that is a bullshit forum, that he wants 15 minutes for intro and then just back and forth like on modern day debate. And that's what he's like. So Boomer, that's what he's wanting. He's wanting like a 15-minute intro and then just like back and forth, point by point by point by point. But the problem with that is that if he behaves like he's behaved before, I won't be able to get any questions in edgewise, and he'll just dodge. That's not the point of a debate. That's why it turns into a dumpster fire. I don't want it on MDD because MDD moderates very, very loosely. That's why he wanted it there at first. So I presented that to him. He put it in there and he flipped out. As a matter of fact, he flipped out, said that was bullshit, that he doesn't like those terms. He doesn't like those terms for a debate. And then he messaged me and tried to fucking gaslight me by saying his response was, give me 1 second. So I can share this. I can go here, share. So if I look at this, maybe I can make it full screen. So if I go here and you look at here, the format you insist we use after accepting my challenge to debate is not applicable for science. It was used to debate theology over 100 years ago. You know this, which is why you insist on using it, so you can claim I will not debate you and you can get out of the debate. My challenge to debate stands open because I am not interested in hearing your dishonesty or rabble. I am blocking you temporarily if you decide to accept a format that is conducive to a debate about science. My debate challenge will still be there. This is not why I presented it to him. I presented it to him because I want him to have plenty of time to get his points across. That's it. And as you can look up above, if I scroll up, this is when he was dodging J Mike's questions because that's what he was doing there. And so he was trying to come up and says, nobody wants to debate that way. If you adopt a more common debate format, I'll be interested. I'm not interested in making or listening to a 30-minute speech. There needs to be far more arguments and rebuttals than that. Find someone else to debate. I've debated many people. This is what he didn't understand, like PhDs, and nobody wants to debate like that. Keep pushing your evolution story all you like. I'll debate if you change your mind and are willing to have a lot more back and forth. Otherwise, you can find someone else to debate that way. This was after it was all set up and done. This was all scheduled. And so now he's backing out. He conceded it. Well, at least I think he did, because there were other people who talked to him later on and said, and potentially there were other people who talked to him later on and potentially he may take it. So it's a possibility. So what we're going to do is it's scheduled. That's the format. And then I will show up. And if Nephilim doesn't show up, that's on him. But that means that the audience needs to see if this individual who claims that he can defeat his words when he threw the gauntlet, he walked into counter apologetics. He rolls into counter apologetics, throws the gauntlet down and says, you can't beat me. I will destroy you. I can't lose. It was like, okay, I will debate you. And I picked up the gauntlet and so we're going to throw down. So let's find a venue. No venues were available until January. The earliest one was January 1st. That was SC Toon's show. And he wants to debate, and he won't. Now he wants to back out because these are the terms. Now he wants to back out. Even though I told him, MC Toon is a believer. He's not an atheist who's going to railroad you. I told him, you don't have to use all the time. If you can present in 10 minutes, then that will add more time to the rebuttal phase where we can do our back and forth. But guess what? He doesn't want to. He's a coward. So he threw the gauntlet down. I picked it up. He ran away. Maybe he ran away. We will be there, and we'll show up. Hey, Regios is in the house. Good to see you, Regios, a member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate. Charlie Wells says he rage quit MDD today. Really? That's interesting. Yeah, Beaver C, you're correct. So he'll debate you only if he can try and yell over you. That's my concern, is that he won't let me get a word in edgewise, and that he'll just start like over talking me, and then it'll drive MC Toon crazy, it'll drive Shorter Just Cat crazy, and I want it moderated and controlled. That's it. If Nephilim Free is incapable of putting together an argument for why a coherent argument in 30 minutes or less for why evolution is false, that's on him. So I don't know what to say on that, but that's it. Nephilim Free challenged me directly. I mean, who was it? Jack Burton was in the room when he did it, and Jack Burton is as great. Has been up here on the channel many times. Jack Burton was there. There were many people who said, "Yep, this guy right here." So that's the point, and I want to make sure that everybody knows this. That I showed that the actual record of this. So just to make sure that if anybody new that happened to pop in, the setup was this. Each person has 10 minutes for their opening statement. Each person has 30 minutes to deliver their argument. So either he goes first, then I go. Then he goes, then I go. Each person has 30 minutes to deliver their argument. Then there is a minimum 15 minutes for open discussion rebuttals. Time not used in delivering arguments can be allocated to the rebuttal session. So if it's like 10 and 10, that's an additional 40 minutes of rebuttal that we can add to the rebuttals portion. Then when we're done with that, we each give a closing argument. And like if he goes first, I get last word, so on and so forth. And then we do our close, and that's it. And then we leave it in the audience's hands. It's for y'all to decide. So that was pretty much it. So Stephen Cover says, JL, the only debates Bible thumpers will do are debates that allow them to browbeat the crap out of you, just like the Eric you just had on. Very true. Very, very true. I hope that's not the last guy. I hope I can find other ones. See, what's great is that there's a live record of this. There's a legit record of his behavior he kept going on and on, wouldn't let me speak, and eventually I have to mute him. It's like a bad caller on the Atheist Experience is what that was. That's what he was, like a bad caller on the Atheist Experience. So, but yeah, I don't know. He's blocked me on Discord, so I can't message him back. But because of that, we're pretty much just we're going to schedule the debate. I'm going to show up. We'll send him the link. I have his email address. His email. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't do that. That would be bad. Would that be bad? I shouldn't do that. So I shouldn't do that. That should be bad. Yeah, I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean. I'm very curious. Let me see. This is modern day debate. So let me go to videos. So this was Erica and Reason to Doubt versus Erica versus Benjamin and Nephilim Free. Okay, so apparently it's a Chrome tab. So, and I'm showing his stuff on here. So let me go to here and jump there. Okay, so this is. Let me go here and do there and there. Okay, cool, awesome. I still need to. I need to get faster on doing this. So apparently, this was after he rage quit. So let's go to here because I want to hear it. So, holy crap! He barely made it in there. So he just bounced? No, he jumped out. I'm kind of curious about this. This is because he never speaks.
I think it's fair to say that we can look at our two models as being between intelligent design, where we'd expect good design, and evolution, where we'd expect good enough design. But what is good design anyway? Well, there are tons of design philosophies, but that any engineer you ask will agree that good designs have at least three things in common. They're simple, which means the opposite of complicated. Sometimes complication is unavoidable, but simpler is better. They're also efficient, meaning they don't expend resources that aren't necessary to accomplish a goal. And lastly, they actually accomplish the goal that they set out to accomplish. Now, applying this to our two models, we should expect a divine
so
an ancestry application to primates. Now, what these guys did is really cool. They essentially took a couple different.
She's good. I love her. She's so fantastic. I love her presentation. I love the way she works. So I really Erica's great.
Kinds of evidence, morphology of living the pattern.
Okay, so they had their intro. Oh, excellent point. That's an excellent one.
Mutations.
Whale evolution. Yeah.
So why is this important?
I was actually going to cite that in my debate as well. I can't remember the species. I was creating a slide. I was going to use a PowerPoint. I've never made a PowerPoint in my life. I've always had my lab partners or other people do it because I was like, I don't want to do it. And so I'm making a PowerPoint. My PowerPoint has video. I was so proud. PowerPoint. But I don't get to, and now I'm probably not going to get to use it.
Important because Indohyus is a land animal.
Yeah. Okay.
And then changing back. And I know that we get into some time frame issues with that. But the reason I bring that up is because from a creationist standpoint, if the bacteria is already there, God designed it a certain way, then there's nothing wrong with saying that the bacteria is able to change.
Okay, that's just a still image of him.
To do this, and then it can be outcompeted by the other ones because it's already there. What I'm questioning is how did it get to that?
All I was trying to explain with the example with the bacteria is that you didn't include selection in your simulation, that you have to include selection. You also had a constant mutation rate, which mutation rates aren't constant. You used modern bacteria conditions.
That's a big thing. We were talking about that over in Discord. We were talking about point mutations, and point mutations are extremely important. So point mutations are a big thing, and that the increase, and another big thing is because Nephilim Free is a giant proponent, is a big proponent of John Sanford's work. His book Genetic Entropy and the Mystery of the Genome. He's huge on that crap, and despite the fact that John Sanford was essentially discredited because for his book he misrepresented the work of Motu Kimura in order to justify his point. When that was discovered, when people pointed this, it was like, whoa, no. You're using Komodo's work to justify your position, but he literally said, he said Komodo was doing a thing that Komodo was not doing. So, which is wild. And he left information out, which is really, really important. So that was problematic. And so John Sanford is an idiot. He's a young earth creationist. He thinks genetic entropy, the deleterious mutations would build up and our genome would just fall apart. And, we've only been around 6,000 years. Otherwise, this is what would have happened. When he doesn't seem to realize that if there is a harmful genetic mutation or even genetic mutation that is neutral, that the more that builds up, the more the odds increase for a beneficial change because the template begins to change. So if like a C turns to a T and it is harmful, then when it passes on those genes, that C to a T has an opportunity to turn back to a beneficial mutation. And the more negative ones you have, the more the odds are they'll flip or they'll go to something beneficial when they mutate again. So, and he ignores this. So that's why it's kind of like a pendulum that swings back and forth and it just keeps swinging. So I'm not seeing
my notes over here.
This is just like a still image. Does he ever talk?
Trying to give everybody their chance to make their case.
It's not science. It's
there he is. Okay.
You can talk when I'm done. So anyone who
hang on.
What's actually doing the selecting is the environment
this.
that the organism is in, right? So a great example of this is when you look at bacteria that becomes resistant.
If remind me, Erica Gutzik-Gibbon, she's going for her PhD, isn't she? She's going for her PhD. So go 6 minutes in. He says go 6 minutes in. Well, that's when 6 minutes.
Think that the evolutionary theory is impossible in all senses. I also don't think it's unreasonable in all senses, but I definitely think certain components of it are unreasonable. And so that is where I'm going to start with the odds of, and let me do a share screen real quick. 2.993 billion more base pairs than bacteria. So this, and a lot of that is not only going to be morphological changes, but also chain. And this is only 80 links of the chain. If we take this up to 100, we have now surpassed, again, we have to decrease the font size. We've now surpassed the timeline that evolution allows for. We're up to.
No, okay. I'd have to hear this whole argument. I know he's wrong, but I'd have to hear where he's wrong because I don't. His conclusion is incorrect.
18 trillion years.
No, that's not the way that works.
It's based on philosophy.
Okay, so here we go.
Timelines and whatnot. Even if
so, evolution is a 19th century myth.
No, it's not.
That's based on philosophy and promoted as science.
It's not based
Charles
on philosophy. It's based on
Darwin wrote
evidence.
his book on the origin of species by means of natural selection and or the preservation of the favored races in the struggle of life in 1859.
Right. So yeah, the favored races being those that have been selected for by nature. Those genes that were able to survive are obviously, they're favorable to the conditions in which they are thriving. So
in 1869, Friedrich Miescher, a Swiss biologist and a researcher, discovered the DNA molecule.
Yeah, Robert Kaslow brings up a good point. What is it with fundies and gazillion to 1 odds? Just because the number is big doesn't get you to God. And guess what? The number argument doesn't matter because here we are. That's it. We're here. So obviously, no matter how big the number is, it happened. You fucking break. So I got to see with the point because at one point I want to get because I know he's going to blather on and on.
It doesn't make any sense to do.
And I want to get to where reason to doubt said, "Let me finish speaking."
Never offer arguments about that because.
I'll be really quick. Okay, so let's say I go out onto the beach and I build 2 houses, right? I build a house out of straw and a house out of stone.
Okay, so
and then I leave, right?
Here?
Change based on the coding of the information in the bacteria,
Now, if I gotta say,
turns on a gene,
you're
which,
going all over
excuse me,
the place.
excuse me,
You've been going for a hot minute.
excuse me, turns on the gene, which,
So yeah, he won't shut up.
You can both give me a second. Just there are a number of points that you made, Neff. So we do want to wrap it up right here. Might be a good upper.
This is what I'm concerned about.
All right, Nephilim free is left.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Let's back that up a touch. This is what I'm concerned about Nephilim doing. Because James tried to step in there and be like, okay, you've made a whole bunch of points. Erica's got to be able to respond.
Appealing to anything like that involves inheritance or organisms and how they reproduce. We're just solely talking about how the environment impacts a thing. In this case, that
evolutionary
thing
pressures is what Erica,
right?
is what she's
so
referring to
is
now.
the environment or is the storm intelligent because it's selecting against the straw house?
No, it is not.
It's just doing what it does. It's just doing.
So what we're hearing is a lot of philosophical ideas, and you'll see that their examples are based on ideas.
No, they're based on evidence.
And it's like a card trick. See this I'm talking about something not biological, therefore it happens biological.
This is okay. So I can actually. This is really, really messed up. So this right here is absolutely. This is bunk because. Let me see if I can find it. So what he was saying was like making these equations, or equating these things. Nephilim Free literally said on his blog. See if I can find it, and it said where he was talking about evolution, and he says, "Oh god dang it, where the heck did it go?" Wasn't this July? Evolution occurs because changes to a leaf, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. Example, it would not. So this is what Nephilim Free equates the theory of evolution to. It would not be possible to produce the instructions for the assembly of a motorcycle by including or excluding the various instructions for the assembly of a bicycle. That is what Nephilim Free equates evolution to. So yes, so he does that on his own blog, and then he just turned around and accused Erica of doing that very thing.
See.
We already tried the biological
instead of biological examples, they're telling you their stories and their philosophy.
They were giving biological examples. He's completely ignored it.
Because evolution is not science;
that's a claim,
philosophy,
and it's wrong.
When it comes to
excuse me,
so when it comes to the citrate,
biology,
excuse me, you want me to not talk over you?
That's true.
So when it comes to things like citrate utilization, the evolutionists, this is the only argument they really have for evolution. If evolution were true, evolution had to produce cooperative mutations, had to build the information that builds physiological novelties in the body plans of living things. Else, the land-dwelling creature never rises from the fish.
You mean like a lungfish, which is a transitional species? The Australian giant lungfish, our closest ancestor with fins, that shares a grand portion of they're operating on 32 million base pairs. We've got 14 million. So in this respect, a lungfish, a fish that has lungs, that breathes air, a fish that actually has to come to the surface to breathe, otherwise it will drown. That's what that is.
The bird never rises from the land-dwelling creature, and
yes, it did. What do you think birds and dinosaurs are? Of course they do. We've proven this. We've demonstrated it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Etc. Okay. Evolutionists never offer arguments about that because they can't.
Yes, we can all the time. Like the debate that you challenged me to, that you have now run away from.
And all you guys are repeating is neo-Darwinianism.
No, it's not. It's the work of evolutionary biologists of today. It's neo-Darwinian. No, there have been over 100 years of improvements on Darwin over what he's talking about. That's why we don't cite Darwin's work. We cite the works of like Lenski and Mojo Kimura. We cite these guys, Daniel Dennett.
That failed.
Enough, you've been
That
going
failed.
on for a hot
You-
minute.
Evolutionist biologists
Let's
agree
put this
that
down.
neo-Darwinianism has failed, and that's why
No,
they
this
offer
guy.
what they call the third way, which includes ideas like phenotypic plasticity and
phenotypic plasticity is one of three ways that point mutations occur. Point mutation. He literally just cited something that refutes what he's arguing. That's why but he just brought up just one point. There's standing gene, there's plasticity, and then there's a third one that's possible. I'm not going to look for it right now. Well, maybe I should. I brought it up. So in point mutations, because it's one thing that he never ever talks about. There's small scale, large scales like this, but in that was that point. It's debunking his. Oh yes, so evolutionary blah blah point mutations. Unlike gene duplications that increase the overall length of the individual's genome, point mutations act as mere edits. A point mutation is a natural change in a DNA or RNA sequence that only affects a single nucleotide, changing a single letter like a C to a T. These mutations can be passed from parent to child. Though point mutations do not increase the total amount of information in an individual's genome, they do increase the total amount of information within a population. They literally create new alleles. That's the point of that. That's their whole big thing. Where like it doesn't create new information, evolution is great. It does. Point mutation results in new information into the population, increasing their genetic information that increases their genetic variability. That's pretty much it. But I want to hear him rage quit.
Synergetic epistasis and whatnot. When it comes to citrate, for example, you offer this kind of idea as evidence of evolution. But the truth is, what's been discovered is that the bacteria already have the ability to produce the citrate utilization. The gene is simply turned off. A mutation.
That literally that right there is a misrepresentation of that.
A change, not necessarily a random one, but an inbuilt change based on the coding of the information in the bacteria.
Now, if I gotta
turns
say,
on a gene.
you're going all over
Excuse me.
the place.
Excuse me.
You've been going for a hot minute.
Turns on the gene.
Okay, right here. What he's doing here. This was my concern about going on like MDD or he also brought up like Speaking for Truth. So SFT's channel. My concern was that this is what he would do. Is that he just wants to ramble on. He wants to eat the clock. And this was I was concerned that this would be. So I'm like, I don't think these are appropriate venues for this discussion. I think we should have a place where the moderation is really strong. And my first recommendation was the plot hole. The plot hole is a magnificent debater. His debate, he moderated the debate between me and the pigeon, Philip Cornelius Amon, who I don't think is producing videos anymore. Because I don't think anybody will talk to him anymore because that dude is categorically out of his mind. But Johnny is fantastic. But then he was like, no, I don't want to go on some channel that I don't know. And he wanted it to be a big channel. He wants a big audience, right? So he didn't want it to be on Johnny's because Johnny's was too small and he was afraid that Johnny would be biased. So I said, okay, let me find another one for you. The only one that was available was SC Tune's channel. Was SC Tune, Schrödinger's Cat and MC Tune. And that these guys were fantastic, that they'd be fantastic. MC Tune is a believer. I hope to have him on the show here soon so I can talk to him. That will be much more structured and much more informative than talking to Eric. So, but yeah, sorry, Nimrod. Yes. Nimrod's like, can we get to the rage quit?
So if you can both give me a second. Just there are a number of points that you made, Neff. So we do want to wrap it up right here. Might be a good upper.
And that's when he bounced because it fucked up the camera.
All right, Nephilim 3 is left. So we are going to just readjust the screen here. What we are going to do as well is remind you folks a couple of things. One, as mentioned, we are absolutely thrilled for DebateCon coming up in the future. So subscribe for that, as I'm going to flip on that subscribers only chat in just a moment.
Okay. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, what are you going to do? So I don't know if Nephilim will show up. I don't know if he'll show up to SE Tune. The challenge is given to him. Peter De Tucker has asked me. Oh, gonna go for it. I do appreciate it. Sorry. That was on Discord. He messaged me on Discord. I apologize. Gonna go for it. Said, have I read Rebecca Davis yet? Bread of Life channel. I haven't, but I'd be happy to talk to her. I will talk to anybody. Any theist that's willing to come on and talk to her. And if it turns into a dumpster fire, I'll boot their fucking ass. But like everybody saw with the last two people I had on, it didn't go that way. It didn't. It was a healthy conversation. Not, let me recount to you all these personal experiences that I have biasedly thought, that I have biasedly concluded that they were God. That's not an argument. So, Robert Caslow, what is it with fundies being dumber than a bag of hammers? That's a very good point. That's an exceptional point. And I hope that PhD Tony is doing okay. Okay, probably, yeah, okay. He's been up and down roller coaster with since he got vaccinated, because I guess he's just one of the small few where it just hit him in the wrong way. Plus, he's older than the sands, so it may have been a problem. It may have been it. Oh, Captain Welch says he's got to go. The Sandman's calling. Oh, okay. Well, I hope. Thank you so much for coming out, Captain Welch. I do appreciate it. Sorry for that opening montage. I promise you I can prove that my mother speaks to me. It's really weird. Can you prove that your mother spoke? Well, I mean, I can't prove a past event that you weren't present for, but it can be demonstrated. If you're standing in the room when I'm speaking to my mother, well, how do I know it's your mom? I mean, but here, there's and that right there. I should have brought that up. That's a break in his epistemology. If he wants to demonstrate global skepticism, then he needs to apply that same standard. If he says that global skepticism is my position, then he needs to be able to apply that to God. If that's going to be his epistemology, is global skepticism about everything I say. So if that's a break in the epistemology. JL says, I think, Nimrod says, I think we all need the proof before the stream ends. Well, one, and this is what's funny. One, my mother's in South Carolina and I am not. So she's an hour ahead of me. Two, she's probably at dinner right now. Three, my mother and I are not really speaking right now. So, which is what's funny, because I was kind of like, did I talk to my mother? You should have said my father, because my father's dead. But yeah, so, but yeah, my mother and I are really not on speaking terms as of right now. Neither by association, my brother. We're not really on speaking terms right now, which is it's a bummer, but it's a bummer. But my mother knows why. So, well, Plato said I could prove it, but I don't want to prove it currently. Can you prove your mother wasn't a hamster? No, but I can prove that my father doesn't smell like elderberries. He smells like something else. Well, probably not. This was in 2003, so it's been like 18 years. It's been like 18 years since my father passed. So Trevor Lund says Eric is the sort of upstanding theist who stands by while his wife was being sexually assaulted so that God could prove his existence. That I didn't want to go there. That felt like really calling out that he was a piece of shit. And I didn't want to break that dam. The minute I start calling him a piece of shit, that you would stand there and do nothing while your wife was potentially assaulted, is insane. That is, in the words of Ricky Gervais, that is fucking mental. I don't know how that's even a thing. Oh, don't worry. God will protect us. I'm inclined to believe, I mean, obviously the guy didn't shoot him. If the story actually happened, then the guy didn't shoot him. But I was trying to recount the situation very, very simply. you were accosted by a person with a gun, and then your wife stepped away, and most likely pissing outside of a car attracted attention. That attention caught his attention, and then the wife got away to go flag someone down. That's it. So yeah. Okay, thank you, Trevor. Okay, cool, Trevor. POS calls are the chat's job. Absolutely, I appreciate that. And Boomer's correct. I really doubt that he has the medical knowledge to say his hand was broken. So yeah, I don't believe that either. I think one thing about that, as old as he is, and still acting like a fucking child, as old as he is, the fish keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like the fish gets bigger and bigger and just gets more and more crazy. Like my hand was red and swollen. Next year, my hand was red and really swollen. Next year, my hand was red and so swollen I couldn't move my fingers. Next year, my hand was like bright red. Then it was like dark red. Then it was like, turning black. And it just keeps getting larger. Then you stack like 110 years on it, like that guy obviously had. And you wind up with, my hand was like shattered, bones broken, metatarsals broken, and it swelled up black and green and yellow, and then I held it to the sky and it was healed. That doesn't happen ever. If that had happened, you would have made the fucking news. That would have been in the news. A preacher who supposedly fixed a woman's arm through healing, straightened her arm from a birth defect, and that was in Africa. This is the village preacher who says, I could fix this woman's arm, and fixed her arm birth defect and straightened her arm out. That made the global news. Global news. Even if the internet didn't exist back then when this occurred, you would have at least made local news. There would have been a newspaper article that I could cite, that you could source and be like, here's the news from the archives. Here's this recounting my hand's masturbatory experience. I don't know how to respond to that. Yes, babe boomer. Line for bigger. Keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yes, I'm talking about your John Thomas, Chris Durham. So that's what I'm looking at. That's essentially what it is. That's what he claims. That's his claim. And there's no way, I mean, literally, that would have at least made the local paper. Like the local town would have been like, man's hand miraculously healed. So it's ridiculous. And as it turned out, that faith healer in Africa, it turned out that woman, it's a scam. That she goes from preacher to preacher to preacher, and they pay her money so they can perform this in front of people to convince them that they have powers. That was exposed after she got away with it 4 times, and then it was fine, or I think 4 or 5, and then it finally got exposed as a hoax. Nemrod says, JL, I say my liver exploded, but it didn't really. But I did almost die after a procedure. Lost blood pressure so badly, I gave the nurses a very bad fright. So hepatic failure. So it sounds like you suffered hepatic failure after a procedure. And that does occur sometimes depending upon the procedure. So especially if it's an anterior, anything anterior, you can suffer, hepatic failure is a major thing. Yes, he said he was at a bar when his hand healed himself. I'm guessing there was alcohol involved. I'm guessing alcohol was involved. So, yeah. Boomer, God priorities be like, fix some dude's hand and talk to him or stop all preventable disease and starvation. I mean, the logical entailments. Come on. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wish it had gone better. I really, really do. But it didn't. And it's possible. Beaver C, it's possible. He may have been drunk. He really may have been drunk. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, that went really, really badly. And I thought, okay, you know what we can do? If you saw the thumbnail, I have Australia up there. So I have Australia up there. And there's a reason for that. Because I wanted to talk about things going on in the world. But the problem is, a lot of it will get me demonetized. A lot of it will shut me down. Hey, oh, that's Cyrillic. Varktech. I don't know what that is, but that's Cyrillic. So, do svidaniya. Dorish. That's all I've got. And yet. So, yeah. The reason I wanted to bring it up was because a lot of stuff out there, the stuff with obviously the new, you know, the log allergy that has made its way is now in like I think it's like reported in like 6 states. One of the worst was a guy coming back from the anime convention in New York tested positive for it, which means it was at the anime convention, which means there's a bunch of weebos out there that currently are infected. So there was that issue. And yeah, that's right. President Starscream, the real world is not YouTube friendly. Then, of course, there's the situation going up north where the parents are on the run because of the incident that occurred in that high school. So there's that situation. I don't know how that's resolved itself. There is stuff going on all over France with the expose that went into like improprieties in the Catholic Church. That's getting really, really bad. The Pope released some sort of statement that he was like super frustrated at the difference going on towards the church, and it's like you know, really weighing on him. Well, it should be. Your church is fucked. The parents were arrested early this morning. Good to know. Wrote no last name. Wrote no last name. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Gabba to you. They caught them. Okay. 2nd-degree manslaughter. Woof. Which I actually happen to agree with. I don't hear anybody saying they disagree with that. So, Nimrod says they were draining the fluid from my stomach, and when they opened the tap to let fluid out, one nurse went to 4, and they moved my bed so that it was almost upside down. All I wanted to do was pee. Yeah. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. You had one job. All right, so there's that, and then of course, what was the other bad one? There's so many bad things going on. It's just terrible. But I did find one thing, and this is fun. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to see if I can find the article, just so I'm not like blathering, so I have something to show you guys. I'm going to do everything in my power to not run like a uni show, because sometimes I fear that I'll wind up just doing a show like Unirock, and that concerns me because I want to do something substantive and talk about these things, because I mean, this is an important part of my life now. So having y'all here is very important. It's a very important part of my life now. And I don't want to turn into that kind of stream where I'm just like gossiping about shit. But I found this to be hilarious. It was just in The Guardian. Just a few, let's see, when was this? Friday, December 3rd, 2021. And I find this absolutely freaking hilarious. And I thought I might show. I know we have some people. Well, no. I think we have some friends who are there. And I think so. We're going to do this. Let me just share it. This is hilarious. And I'm so glad that I found it. So yes, Australia is the drunkest country in the world. That's funny. That is funny to me. That is very hilarious. I like this. I do. And I had to go through this. And essentially, Australians have been named the heaviest drinkers in the world after spending more time drunk in 2020 than any other nation. An international survey has found that Australians drank to the point of drunkenness an average of 27 times a year, almost double the global average of 15. Almost a quarter of Australians reported feeling regret for becoming intoxicated. I'm curious. If anyone is in Australia, Bob Nodell says, what are the odds that Eric is still mouthing off 50 minutes after being booted? No, you never know. You never know. But I found this to be, demonstrably hysterical. That, what the heck? Why is it uncovering? So this is so weird. Anyway, but yes, on average, Australians drink alcohol in line with the global average of 2 nights a week and became heavily drunk about once every 2 weeks. The French topped that metric, drinking around 3 times a week. They just know their limits. They know their tolerance is the point of that. So Australian participants also tripled the global average by seeking emergency care for their drinking, 3.9% compared to the global average of 1.2%. So the Foundation for Alcohol Research and Education chief executive said the statistics were concerning. Oh, man. Super chat. Thank you so much. Nimrod. Says Nimrod for 20 secs. Ooh, I like 20 secs. Says have some sexy time. Treat the wife and the dogs. You know damn well I will. She also likes that sexy time when it comes from super chats, not from me. So, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support, Nimrod. Thank you. I could not do it without you. So, Dumb Jessa says, I'm Aussie. Can confirm it's all fake. We are all actors. Trevor Lund says, I'm in Melbourne. No one surveyed me. Was that because you were at the pub? Be honest. Aaron Reed said, the French will have a small glass with lunch rather than several pints after work. Agreed. Very true. So Little Wolf says, wait, treat the dogs. I will absolutely treat the dogs. Doggy Christmas presents. I'm all about doggy Christmas presents. And Jingles, he's been having a tough time. He's kind of up and down. He's doing okay right now. He's kind of coming out of a bottom skid where he was kind of hit. He threw up a bunch, but it looks like he's on the uptick again. I'm pretty sure he's going to make it through Christmas. We're really, really happy. So he's going to get super puppy toys that's going to flip out. And I love watching him open toys. That's always fun. Is you rewrap them and then he just rips them apart. He loves opening his presents. It's a lot of fun. Alpha K91, thank you so much for the super chat. $4.99. I do appreciate $4.99 Freedom Dollars. No message, but if you did have a message, just tag me and I will see it. But thank you so much for the support, Alpha K91. I appreciate that. Oh, and Thor Rasmussen for a 20 Donkey Kong dollars. Super sticker. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's cool. I think that's my first super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. All right. Dang. Oh, y'all guys' support helps me to do this. It helps me to entertain y'all. So I appreciate y'all being here. This has been fantastic. But yes, for those here in Australia, for all of our friends from Australia, why y'all drink so much? Let's see. Georgie. Let's see. Well, who is this guy? This was Katerina Georgie, is the chief executive of the Foundation for Alcohol Research and Education, who thought it was concerning. So we've seen a steep increase, which has sustained for calls for help to drug and alcohol hotlines and increased alcohol involvement with family violence callouts. There's an emerging picture that there is a significant proportion of people who are drinking at riskier levels to cope with stress and anxiety. This is what happens when you live in a country where everything will kill you. Cindy Sue, thank you so much. Cindy Sue with a $5 Freedom Dollar super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Super sticker is kind of cool. I gotta take that. Thank you. Appreciate that. And the plot hole with the $2 super chat, $2 Freedom Dollars. It says trailer, Rudy Chan. Ah, yes, the trailer. Oh, excellent point. I think we've made fun of the Aussies for their drinking. I was about to get into the stats that they actually spend more money. Like there's been a $3.3 billion increase in alcohol sales in 2020 in Australia, which I find interesting. But we can do this. Yes, I can stop sharing. And we can get to the trailer. Let me share it. Dang it. Where you shared it to me via Discord. No, that's Peachy Tony. Yes, I want to go. There we go. Here we go. And let me. So here is the trailer. One second. Oh, okay. No, that's not it. Hang on. Screwed it up. All right, here we go. Now I need to share. Share screen. Boom. And make sure everybody can see it. You got it? Excellent. And let's do this because I want to do it big. I like doing it big. There we go. Can everybody see that all right? All right, fantastic. So here we go. For Johnny O, here's the trailer for his new documentary. I hope that y'all enjoy it.
Is a computer code an algorithm capable of differentiating between genuinely fake news and somebody like me who makes fun of fake news? I don't think it is.
In 2020, the beginning of a pandemic left the masses in what seemed like a worldwide lockdown.
And God forbid your channel actually gets deleted, then you're left with no income.
With the average American spending 20% more time on YouTube, content creators capitalized on the opportunity, hoping to bridge the income gap caused by the pandemic.
If they're saying that I'm pushing this bad, dangerous conversation, why wouldn't they just let me add that and make everything clear? Because they don't give a shit.
But creators ran into new obstacles. Managing the ever-changing landscape of social media proved more difficult than most anticipated.
So, what happens now?
Boom. Actually, I'm going to look at something. I got to see if I can find something. I want to see. Directed, produced, production design, featuring, yeah. Got everybody up in there. Very cool. There we go. Awesome. There you go. That is the trailer for Johnny O's, for the Plot Holes documentary coming out. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. That should be really, really fun. So he's done a lot of work on that bad boy. So it's really, really important. If Johnny wants to come on and discuss this, he's more than welcome to come on to my channel and discourse on his documentary. I'm more than happy to have him, but because I think typically I try to go like 2 hours. I think 2 hours is good. Because nothing like I don't have like major events going on, but I like catching up with y'all. I like hearing what's good. Someone asked me, what do I think of homeschooling? And I just remembered that. Someone asked me what I think of homeschooling, and homeschooling has pros and cons. Homeschooling allows you to the biggest pro is homeschooling allows you to cater your lesson plan directly to your child, which means no one knows how your child can communicate with your child like a parent can, because you spend all that time with them. So what you can do is you know how your child learns because you can observe them every single day. They don't have the capability of doing that in public schooling. In public schooling, it's standardized across the board, and that's what you got to adhere to. Change the child to meet the format. Unfortunately, with homeschooling, you don't have to worry about that. You can make the format fit the child, and they learn better. The problem is, and as bad as it sounds, you need that cesspool of public school because those social cues, those social interaction cues need to be learned. And you don't learn those in a homeschool environment. It sucks. You get bullied, you deal with stuff. I mean, it's rough. It literally is a gauntlet. It's like a prison. The homeschoolers I know lag behind in learning that. They have lagged in not in I would say in an emotional capacity, but social interaction. They don't have it really figured out to the degree that public schoolers have. Because in public school, you have to deal with your teachers, you have to deal with your peers, you have to deal with cliques, you have to deal with all the varieties of your peers, of people that are around you. In homeschooling, you really don't have to do that. You need that exposure. Because when you get into the real world and you don't have that, or if you go immediately from homeschool to college and without that prep, that's going to make things really, really weird. The studies have shown that there's pros and cons to it. You got to have that peer interaction to develop emotionally when you respond into your interpersonal relationships. And you need that curriculum that's built for you so you can learn on your level. If we could get public schools to get both, we have a big thing sorted out there. Because it's the song that never ends. Well, Trevor Lund says, worst thing about homeschooling? Having a crush on the teacher. Oh, hot for teacher. Dumb Jesse says, how rough was your school jail? Did you have to shank people on the reg? I never got to shank anybody. Other people were shanked. Although I did get into a lot of fights. A lot of fights in the yard, a lot of fights. If you want to consider out there on the football field or hell in the cafeteria, in the mess hall, I threw down way too much. Misspent youth. I was angry. I tried to walk through all of my problems and I had a chip on my shoulder. I thought it was, I was dumb. It was arrogant, but yeah, ostensibly that was my school upbringing. My brother went to public school as well, but the problem is my brother was popular. I was not popular. So let me see. Aaron Reese says, I knew a guy who was in and out of homeschooling. He wanted a public school experience, but could never adapt to the social situation. It's tough. It really is. It's tough. So this is the song. Yes, President Starsky, this is the song that abruptly ends. JL, were y'all toting guns and chewing tobacco? No guns. Chewing tobacco, yes. Absolutely. I went to high school in Texas. Of course I did. Of course everybody did. Johnny O!
What up?
You driving?
Yeah, I am driving.
Awesome. You see my new chair?
I see it. Yeah.
Secret Labs. I cannot tell you, dude. This thing is like sitting on a cloud. It's absolutely amazing. I could stray for hours.
I know. I think I might need to replace my chair, but I'll stick with what I got for now.
Yeah. So, so just showed your trailer.
Wait. Why are we shanking people in school?
No, he was talking about, did I ever have to shank anybody in high school? Because I equated my high school to prison.
Oh, well, you went to high school in California, right?
No, I went to high school here in Texas.
What part of Texas?
Richardson.
Yeah, you probably had to shank a few people in Richardson, yeah.
Unfortunately, there were no shanks, but there were lots and lots of fights.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Now, imagine what would happen if they knew that I was bi back then, because the last person who came out, if I remember when I was in high school, the last person that came out got gang beat, and then they had to transfer schools.
That's fucked up.
That's really, yeah, that was the school I went to. Full of upper middle class to rich white, a-holes that thought that they ran everything. You remember, you were in Texas. Do you remember... Yeah. Do you remember when there was a big fight? It made the news in between Pierce High School and Richardson High School.
Vaguely. I think we were in the news around the same time for fighting against Western Hills.
Well, okay, so in this particular one, see, when I went to high school, this is wild. I can't believe I'm going to relate this. I haven't told this story in so long. Okay. So... I'm not even going to speculate that. I think it was 1997. I think it was 97.
I was going to say, it was 97, wasn't it?
I think it was 97. So I went to Pierce. So that was where I went. And the neighboring competitive school was Richardson.
Yeah.
It was Richardson High School. And then there was also what the hell was the name of it? It started with a B. Their mascot was the Bears.
Yeah. Jesus.
Not Bishop Lynch.
No. I can't remember.
Not Baylor?
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so we had this rivalry between my high school and the other guy's high school. We had a rivalry between us. So so this thing goes down, and so essentially what happened was the group at the stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. The mascot for our high school was the Mustang. The mascot for Richardson was the Eagles, Richardson Eagles. Okay, so at each school there was kind of like a clique. At Pierce, it was called the Mustangs, and it was written like Wu-Tang, but it was like Mustangs.
Yeah, because they're original.
And they were all student athletes. They were all like varsity athletes. So it's like all the varsity guys, all the student athletes all together. made like the Woo Stangs. Over at Richardson, there was 3P, which standard for Third Power. Okay?
Yeah.
And Third Power was a kind of a loose knit conglomeration of all the burnouts, the wastoids, the dweebies, all the. Come on, what movie?
Oh fuck. God damn it.
You know
yeah,
it.
I mean, I know it. You're gonna say it. I'm like, God damn it, I know it. I just can't think of it right now because I'm driving.
Ferris Bueller.
Yes, fuck me.
So
I even had that Alan Rickman's fucking face in my head. I couldn't fucking say the movie.
So 3P is all of the burnouts, the dropouts, the wastoids, the dweebies, the bloods, and all these guys. So anyway, but the outcasts is what they were. A person who was in 3P did something to piss off someone in the Mustangs group. Keep in mind, the 3P group, the Third Power group, has like 15 people in it. Okay? Mustangs has like 50 at the time across sophomore, junior, and senior. All
right.
members, all student athletes, all regularly in the fucking gym, pumping iron, doing all shit. Because they're football players, wrestlers, and other sports. These guys are like, they're potheads. Anyway, if Chris, I think his name was Chris Parnell. Anyway, there was an altercation between a member of 3P and a member of the Mustangs, and this was outside of school. So then one of them said, "I'm going to fight you. I challenge you to a fight." Blah blah blah. And then so they decide to go out to Campbell Green Park, and throw down with each other. So this guy comes up. So the 3P guy, I think this was over a girl. So the 3P guy comes up and he brings like a few of his friends. And then the Mustangs show up. And there's like the one guy shows up with like 30 people with him.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I was there, but I was off to the side. I was with some friends and we'd heard about it and we wanted to see what went down. So we want to see how crazy this is going to get. And so the fight started, and almost immediately it turned into a brawl, to a full-on brawl between 15 or I would say 13 to 15 scrawny 3Pers, and all in like every single Mustang, and they are throwing down hard. So at one point, another guy who was never even involved in the initial altercation, his name was Chris, saw one of the Pierce guys attack his friend and get him on the ground, right? And he would start to look like he was going to ground pound him. So Chris took on his wallet chain and started swinging it, and he hit the other dude, if I remember correctly. There's some details. This happened so long ago. This is like 1997. So, and then,
well, of course, you just said wallet chain. It has to be 1997,
right? So start swinging a wallet chain like it's a weapon. And then he winds up getting tackled by a guy I knew that I was on the wrestling team with. This is when I was used to wrestling. His name was Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson and his brother, Jody Johnson, were two of the terrors of my high school. I had actually scrapped with Jody on a couple of occasions. And it did not end well because Jody, like skinny guys fight till they're a burger. Jody was hard as a pine knot. His father was an abusive drunk, and it took it out on them. They were they were hardcore as well. And Jody got himself to dude was really angry. I understand it now. There was a lot of shit that Jody was dealing with back then, and he took it out on the people around him.
Right.
He's culpable, but I understand why. So Jody and I had scrapped before, and I did not like messing with Jody. Jody was like crazy. Danny was worse. Danny, seeing Chris, I think his name was Chris, seeing Chris wielding that wallet chain as a weapon, he then spear tackles Chris, gets him on the ground and pins him down because Danny is a 140. I think he wrestled 145. and the kid was as fast as greased lightning. He's the only person I ever seen in person pull a 5-star move on somebody in freestyle wrestling, which is literally when you get behind them and then throw them in a suplex, and then they literally drop them over backwards, like straight over backwards, and then win the match. I'd never seen that before, except for Danny pulled it off once. Danny was a quick like greased lightning, and he is crazy to boot. Danny, without missing a beat.
That's great.
Danny, without missing a beat, told Chris, I think his name, I'm second guessing the name, but told him, just remember my face. I am the last thing you'll ever see. And proceeded to yank his eyes out of his head.
Fuck.
Like a bowling ball. Hooked his eyes clean out of his skull. Well, actually, one of them. At that point, people started, when that happened, the scream started. And a lot of people bolted. I wasn't aware that Chris was hurt until the following morning because we all bailed. We were watching the fight and said, this is insane. But this was before cell phones were pretty much all over the place. I had a pager, but I didn't have a cell phone. So it's like I couldn't call anybody. So we all bounced. Like everybody just ran when the melee started. This was insane. And when people started, when the screams began, we're all high schoolers. When the screams start, we bounce. We run. Because we're all a bunch of like cowardly high schoolers. I had no idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that you're cowardly high schoolers because you ran the second somebody started pulling a motherfucker's eyeballs out. That's not like, oh, we're high schoolers. Adults, they're good with that. No. If to this day, right now, I'm almost 41 years old. If I'm fucking standing around and somebody starts ripping somebody's eyeballs out, I'm not going to hang around to see if I'm next.
So Danny does this. He does it to Chris, and Chris is screaming. And then one of his friends, he starts screaming. And then the girls that were there, they start screaming, and everybody's freaking out in panic, and we're all gone. So wrote in last name for $2. Thank you for $2. I think this is Jail's next script. I wish it were just a script. Thank you so much for no last name for the super chat. I wish it was just a script. So Danny did this to Chris. Eventually the police show up and the ambulance shows up. They take Chris to the hospital. One of his eyes was out. The other one was twisted around in his eye socket.
Fuck.
They managed to repair as best they can. Chris is now legally blind. So Chris was legally blind after the incident. So that was pretty much it. That's his life now. So Chris was legally blinded by that event. Danny goes about his business like nothing's going on, and eventually gets arrested. Once people figure out what's going on, when the cops figure it out, they arrest him. I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like this went down in the evening the previous day. They finally tracked Danny down and they arrest him and take him to jail. I think it was for aggravated battery, and I think that was what the charge was. Anyway, this led to a major incident at our high school. Because our football coach, Todd Nix, fuck that asshole. God, he was recently caught in like a grade fixing scandal at another school. But our coach so what happened was, this is absolutely funny. I wish I'd been there. The press show up to our high school to talk to, and because they found out that Danny was not only an athlete, Danny was not only there, Danny was a student athlete. So then they go to the high school to talk to Danny's coach. And Todd doesn't know what Danny did. So they start asking him questions. So he says that an interview about Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson was he was a star football player. So he was like, yeah, we'll talk about that. So they put the microphone in his face and they start asking him about Danny's character. And he's like going on, singing his praises, blah, 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 blah. And then they drop the bomb. That it's like Danny can't do no wrong. He's a great addition to the team, yada yada. And then they drop the bomb that Danny's been arrested for pulling the eyes out of a kid's head. And he was caught off guard by that. And then they hit him with it, and then they hit him with the fact that we didn't find out till later. This is the second time he attempted to do it. He had gotten into a scrape like a couple of years previously where he tried to do the same attack to somebody else, and the only thing that protected their eyes was they had contacts. They got lucky because all he wound up doing is just like scratching them. But he went and tried to do it to somebody else. This was the second time he tried to do it. So that was the high school that I went to. And obviously Todd Nixon wound up getting like shut down for it. Gonna go for it. I did see your message and I thought I answered you, but yeah, I'd be happy to talk to her. So yeah, sure. I'll talk to anybody. So I appreciate that. Gonna go for it. Really do. So, because Dumb Jez says, who even thinks of that? Just because Danny was psycho. Danny was a crazy person. He was. I don't know if he still is, but he was. That dude was a lunatic. And so then it comes to, so people now asking, he's in jail. Chris is blind. I think his name was Chris. Anyway, he's blind. Danny's in jail. Everybody has turned on Danny and is just rolling him. And he doesn't care. I'm going to ask you, Johnny, what do you think his punishment was? Consider the facts. Prior history to attempt to do this. He did it at permanent blindness or legally blind. He's legally, I think he can see shadows in one eye. And he's 17.
Was? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What do I think his punishment was? God damn it.
If you were a judge, what would you do?
I would probably put him in, at the very least, he would be in an extensive psychiatric care. At the very least.
He got time served, and he had to finish his high school career at a military camp up in Pennsylvania.
Time served? What the fuck? Where did he serve time?
Because he was arrested until his arraignment.
Yeah, okay. What was that? Fucking 6 hours?
So he basically got, and plus, when it went through, but when through the trial process, he was in. His parents were poor, so they couldn't bail him out. So he was stuck there. And so he was in until it went because they weren't going to bail him out. And so it was time served while he was waiting for his trial. The trial finally hit, and then he was ordered to finish out his it was time served and a big fine that they had to pay. And of course, he finishes his high school career, like his high school, up at some military thing in Pennsylvania. That was it. And then he came, and then after he finished it and he graduated, he came back home. That was it.
Wow.
Yep. So, but that was after, because he was I think he was a year behind me. No, we were same year. But then again, once I graduated, I went to college to do my own thing, and I wasn't worried about it. And I was just I left those people behind. And but I remember that. I remember that was insane. That was great. But that was, I was 17. And that was the kind of high school that I grew up in. There was, not people's eyes getting ripped out, but there was behavior like that all the time. I had a dude one time think that I was messing with him while we were going upstairs to like the second floor during transition period in between classes. And he thought that I was messing with him. And he kicked me down the stairs. So that was it. Rough. Did I lose you again, Johnny? I think he's in and out. But that's wild. Yeah. Wow. I haven't shared that story in a long, long time. I'm actually curious about something.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. You got me. I was gonna say the craziest fucking thing that happened. Well, not crazy. We had similar like crazy stuff, but ours was like, substitute teacher fucked student.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Let me see here. I don't think. Oh, dang it. Let's see.
Okay, so you brought me on to talk about the documentary. We ended up talking about ripping people's eyeballs out and skull fucking them.
Right. So, well, he didn't go that far.
Well, I mean, he might as well have. Shit.
I'm kind of damn it. I know if I look long enough, I could find the edition of the Dallas Morning News that actually had that ran that story. So yeah, I know that because that made the paper. It was absolutely just crazy.
I'm surprised that didn't make fucking national news.
Right. Pretty. I mean, it was. If they did, I never saw it because heck, I was young and I wasn't really paying attention to it. So, but yeah, that was wild. It was insane.
Yeah.
So the documentary. Let's discuss that before I bounce out of here because my wife just messaged me. The lasagna is done, and I'm really hungry.
The lasagna is ready.
So you that was the trailer.
Yep. Trailer.
And
yeah. No, I can't. I'm officially canned. So yeah. I have submitted it to the Dallas Film Festival. Just did that about 2.5 hours ago.
Awesome. DFF.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I believe.
Sorry, DIFF, Dallas Independent Film Festival.
Yep. Yep. I believe that's gilded. So I think if I win Best Picture there, I'll have the opportunity to go to the Oscars. But I don't remember. It's Academy. It's an Academy. I think it's an Academy recognized film festival. So
DIFF. What were the limitations on submitting to that as far as like time wise and
so that different depends on what category you pick, right? I think because I went for a short documentary, I think the maximum time length is 45 minutes.
Okay.
Anything under 45 minutes is there. Anything over 45 minutes is actual feature-length documentary. So there are 2 documentary categories, one short and one regular.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Right, but that's the plan now. Now it's just getting into a bunch of festivals and see what happens.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Oh, I saw that UKPI joined. UKPI, another member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate you popping in. Thank you so much. I do not know what carbonic plague is. This obviously having something to do with curbitize, but there may be an inside joke I'm not aware of. So thank you. Good to see you, UKPI. Thank you. Good to see you, curbitize. And I thought I saw Elizabeth S. in the house. Did I? Yes, I did. Elizabeth S. 26. Both members of the Godless Army. I do appreciate y'all's support. Thank you so much. It's awesome having so many cool members here. But yeah, that's awesome, Johnny. Congratulations. I'm glad you finally got it in the can. I can't wait for everybody to see it. That's going to be fun. And obviously, best of luck at the festivals.
Yeah. First screening. I can do private screenings. That's going to happen. The first one will be the 10th of December. So all channel members, patrons, producers, and contributors to the documentary will get first screening. And then 2 weeks after that, I'll have it open to anybody who wants to check it out.
Awesome. Fantastic. Oh, thank you. And thank you, Bob Nodell's Gyroscope. I did see you come in. I appreciate you being here. It's just brilliant stream as always, even with the Eric and Eric Numpty clause. What did you think, dude? Was I right to shut that down or should I have?
You should have shut it down sooner. No,
I mean, because it was going to be cool.
Fucking hell. The second he says, prove to me that you spoke to your parents. Like, dude, that is probably the most dishonest thing you can fucking say right now.
Yeah, just intellectual dishonesty for days and days.
I mean, if that's your go-to, when I say prove to me that it was God who healed your hand, if your go-to is prove to me that you talked to your parents, you fucking lost this conversation.
I mean, there goes right there because he assumes that, he's making the assumption he's making is that I have parents that I can talk to or that I had parents ever. because he's never met them. He doesn't know. So he's making that assumption based upon the conclusions he knows about people. So he knows that I have parents. He assumes that he does, but he knows that I do because all human beings have parents. So he assumes that they're there and that I can talk to them if I want to. And it's because parents are a thing that exist.
Right. That is demonstrably proven. I mean, again, with that being his go-to argument, that tells me that A, he's either intellectually handicapped or a complete fucking liar.
Yeah, I think that's what I think. He knew that. Given that he was some of the people that he was quoting, or some of the things that he was going to, he may have an understanding of it. I think he knew that he was trapped because he knows that his position is not justified, which is why he was behaving the way he was behaving. It's why he got defensive so quickly and tried to railroad everything.
Right.
Because every time I tried to rebut what he was saying, it was just like, and I was like, I hate having to mute him. It makes me feel like a dick. But you behave like that.
The fucked up thing is he asks the question, and then when you're 2 words into the response, he's fucking over talking. He's like, "Oh no, dude! I mean, if you're gonna ask a question, listen to what I have to say before you shut it down."
Right.
You don't know what you're shutting down because you have no fucking clue what I'm about to say because you won't listen.
Or he thinks he does, and he wants to rebut it before I can say it. Like he was like,
right.
"Look out! I'm so aware of your bullshit. I'm gonna cut you off at the pass." It's like I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not how this works.
It's not how it works. I was like, that dude. I was like, if that's the way, I hope I never act like that when I'm that old.
Well, I mean, you act like that right now, but it's okay.
I don't act like that. And you only said that because you knew that I would react that way.
Exactly. Exactly. See?
I don't. I most certainly do. You got it. You finally got it.
Yeah.
I can't believe you do that. Why would you do a thing like that? I most certainly did.
Yep. But no, I mean, again, that guy needs heavy moderation because he kept jumping from topic to topic to topic. Like, dude, fucking pick one. Stop.
Right.
Stop this fucking shotgun bullshit where you just throw a whole bunch of shit out there and expect everybody to be able to keep up with all this nonsense. None of it makes any sense. None of it is related to, not one bit is related to another bit, at least not directly. You bring up something and then immediately go to debunk what you think the answer is to that with something completely unrelated. It's like, dude, what the fuck is the matter with you? Right. Oh, they're not. How come they're not creating life in laboratories now? Well, they're working on it. You mean to tell? Oh, they haven't done it yet. You mean to tell me you expect humans who've only been studying this thing for the past, realistically, the past 30 years? You expect them to be able to realistically recreate life, abiogenesis that took how many millions of years to fucking happen?
Right.
You want that to happen in 30 years or less. Is it really your standard? Talk about unrealistic. Not to mention the fucking bullshit he was spewing about, his come to Jesus experience. I broke my hand and God healed it. Bullshit. God don't give it. Look, if God exists, he don't give that much of a shit about your fucking hand.
Right.
He's got more important things to do, like play backgammon with the fucking devil.
So I'm kind of curious about this. Oh wow. Okay, so and Craig Venter did receive a 2008 National Medal of Science for his contributions to genomics. He's now under extreme scrutiny from the scientific community, and that's because he claims. He makes claims like this. That personal details could be back engineered from supposedly private genetic data.
What?
And so concerns brewed in public made him in the science community. Some of the Venter's colleagues swiftly turned their backs on him. They were not convinced that Venter's claims in his Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences paper were sound. In the article, he and a team of researchers reported that an individual whole genome sequence, long considered to be so dense and unwieldy that it couldn't possibly be used to identify somebody, could in fact be used to single out a single person with a fair degree of certainty. They said that her work challenges current conceptions of personal privacy and may have far-reaching ethical and legal implications. Multiple scientists spoke up quickly, speaking out in Nature. They did not agree with the paper's findings. Some accused Venter of having ulterior motives.
I wonder what those motives were.
The intention is now. So Venter is an atheist. So let me clarify. I need to clarify something. Venter is an atheist. Okay, it's stated. It's stated in other places. Venter does not represent work correctly because the conclusions he came to that there could not possibly be a Luca. The Luca, the last universal common ancestor, the Luca is an extrapolation of the current model. Okay, because that's where it boils back down to in the eukaryotic, in the current eukaryotic line. It doesn't say that the Luca is the original thing. It doesn't say that the Luca was alone and there was only one. It simply states that the Luca, for all life currently on the planet, there is a universal common ancestor for that one, for all of life currently alive. So, and this is just an extrapolation of phylogenetics. It's very easy to come across. Venter completely disregards that and thinks that the genome can't do that. While he does have an understanding of genetics, his extrapolations are incorrect. And people have called him out for that because there is what is called the Craig Venter controversy, which apparently this is one of those. But
let me ask you a question really quick. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, he's not really an atheist and just playing the role of an atheist so he can say, hey, look, creationists, there's an atheist who says that, the Luca doesn't exist?
Possibly. I do realize from looking at some of this stuff, of some of the articles about him, what he does is he's championing future biotechnology regarding genetics in order to get grant money. So he's got a lot of things on the plate that he's trying to get done, or that he wants to do, that he's basically looking for money for. He's already a multimillionaire. So what's wrong with Craig Venter? Craig Venter, multimillionaire Maverick, says he can help you live a better, longer life. So yeah. I have the brain of a 44-year-old. Yeah. No, you don't. It's goofy shit like that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why Craig Venter is disregarded. So
why 44-year-old though? Why not a 30-year-old?
Why? Yeah, exactly.
It's an odd year.
So I will clarify, because someone is going to go back to the beginning of this and point that out. He divorced his first wife, married his second wife. She is a genome specialist, and then he declared he was an atheist. I don't know if there's a connection there. I don't know if there's I don't even know if there's correlation. All I know is he was never asked that until this stuff comes out, and he says that he's an atheist. I don't know if it's suspect. I probably need to dive into more. I just remember that he attempted to make He attempted to make Richard Dawkins look foolish, and he failed. I remember that debate. Looking at that debate. So I will digress, because someone's going to call out, you said he was a young Earth creationist, because his what he was claiming supports that. But he states unequivocally he is an atheist. So either I'm wrong or he deconverted.
I think maybe he just
smoke screen.
I'm going with the conspiracy theory here that it's a smoke screen.
Ronan Last name says, I have the brain of an 8-year-old. It's in a jar in my basement. Dumb Jesse says, I have the brain of a 44-year-old. Too bad I'm younger than that.
Oh.
Elizabeth S. asked me, what does bridge the divide mean? Yes. Bridge the divide is, as I say at the beginning of all my creative content, is that my intention is to bridge the societal divides that religious and dogmatic thinking create with education, rationality, and reason. So the process being a critical examination of the claims of believers, why those claims are irrational, or they're not backed up by evidence, or they're arguments from ignorance or incredulity or appeals to emotion, and how using these means to come to a conclusion leads you to bad positions that you can make bad decisions off of. Irrational beliefs lead to irrational behavior. But if we bridge the societal divides, we recognize that education, rationality, and reason can eliminate the psychological necessity for such things, then we can start making progress as a species together, because we will have lost that tribalistic. We will recognize we no longer need the tribalistic divide of religion anymore. We just don't need it. That's pretty much it. So that is what Bridge the Divide is.
I like to think that it's more you tapping into your Viking heritage and just trying to get across the moat.
Trying to get the pond.
Exactly.
Bridge the Divide. Valhalla.
Yeah. Hey, I'm almost to film set, so I'm going to duck out. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
What are you going to film?
I don't know, but I was told to be on set and ready to play guitar, so I'm going to do that.
By who?
By a mutual friend of ours.
EH?
Yeah.
The thirsty one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, cool.
So, cheers, everybody. I'm out.
Have a good. All right, I think that's a good place where we could end this. We're at almost 2.5 hours. So I appreciate Johnny coming in. Thank you so much, Johnny. Got to see his new trailer. That's awesome. Got to talk about how drunk Australia is, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And I got to talk to a crazy person. That was fun. Oh, well. So, so let's close it up. So, yes, coming up on this channel, I have 2 videos that are in the works. And hopefully those will be done soon. I've got one where I'm going up again, where I'm taking on a bit of orange. I have another one where I am taking on, what the hell is it? A bit of orange, 10 proofs from a bit of orange, and then a really freaky one from another group, which led me down a freaky rabbit hole, which I will go into the video. So I have 2 videos on the works. We have episodes of Week in Horror every single week, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. New episode coming up next Wednesday. And, of course, all the links and everything you need if you want to support this channel, if you want to become a channel member. All of the links are in the description below. Channel memberships are available. Only 99 cents a month, because that's about how much I value my content. And, of course, you get access to all of the very cool emojis. And, of course, dumb Jezza, I am taking on a... Oh, crap. Cindy Sue called it out. Dumb Jezza, thank you. Yes, I'm taking on a guy named Bit of Orange. Cindy Sue, yes, his name was Jason Prickett. Shit, I knew Chris was wrong. Let me second guess to myself. I knew Chris was wrong. Jason Prickett was his name. Son of a bitch. Let me see here. Boom, here we go. This was April 22nd, 1998. So I was 17. I just wasn't. It wasn't there. So just so everybody can see, I'll do this real fast. Like I'm doing a brainy end. It's a brainy end. Oh, come on, get off there. Boom. So there we go. So this was the fight that took place when between high schools, and it was Jason Prickett. Jason Prickett, a junior high dropout and reputed gang member. He was not. He was a member of 3P. He was not a gang. Had gone to a field with a friend. It was Campbell Green Park. The original fight was between 2 guys, but others got involved. Prickett's friend got the upper hand. His rival's friend attacked Prickett and joined the melee, swinging a wallet chain. They started fighting. Some other guy jumped on my friend. I tried to break it up. They all jumped on me. Beverly Prickett said the doctors have told her that her son is legally blind. At best, he may be able to differentiate between dark and light. I know one eye he can see shadows with. It was deliberately done to his eyes. It's going to change the rest of his life. Yes. They don't mention Danny, most likely because Danny was a fight with a romantic rival. Yep. And each brought several friends. And it was just absolutely insane. They don't mention Danny in this one. I don't know why. But they don't mention Danny. But Danny was the perpetrator in that fight. So thank you, Cindy Sue, for reminding me. It'd been a long, long time. And I hadn't told this story in a long time. But Jason Prickett, if Jason Prickett's still out there, He wasn't a friend of mine, but I know of him. And dude, my thoughts are with you, dude. I hope you're doing okay. I hope life is treating you well, Jason. I don't know where you're at or what's going on with you, but if you ever by chance, I'm throwing it out there to the internet, if you ever by chance happen to see this, man, I hope everything is okay in your life. It's been a long time. It's been almost 30 years. So coming up on 30 years. So it's like 97, 2017. Well, now, kind of 25 years, quarter of a century, 25 years. Fuck. So yeah, I hope everything is right with you, dude, if you ever happen to see this. So all my best. So Cindy Sue, thank you so much. A member of the Godless Army. I do appreciate it. Now you can enjoy all of the absolutely amazing emojis that I have made for you. So thank you so much, Cindy Sue. I appreciate that. Your channel membership helps me to do what I do. So I could not do it without you. So thank you. Welcome to the Godless Army, Cindy Sue. All right, so that's pretty much it. So I got the 2 videos coming up. I have, obviously, every Wednesday, new episodes of Week in Horror. You can definitely support the channel. You can support Week in Horror over there at our Patreon, or you can support me here at the channel memberships. And then, of course, supposedly I have a debate on January 1st over on SE2. We will see if that happens, but it will be a debate between me and Nephilim Free arguing evolution. I don't know if he'll show up. Maybe he will. I have no idea. But other than that, we are screaming towards Christmas. And anybody that celebrates Christmas out there, I hope you have the absolute best holiday. Today is the 4th. I don't know if I'll be able to live stream next week. I hope I will. But obviously, we've got all kinds of cool things coming up and doing stuff. And hopefully we will see this month, we will see the return of the 4 Beardsmen, which may be there. I don't know. But look forward to the new videos coming out. It's going to be an absolute blast. And if something big comes up, I will definitely live stream. We'll talk to you then. If I can find another theist to talk to, that guy might have spoiled it for me. All he does is just mute you. Yeah, when you talk like an asshole. So thank you all so much for joining me. This has been an absolute blast. Almost at the 2.5 hour mark. That's a good place to cut off so I can let you all get back to your amazing lives. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate your support. Appreciate all the interactions. As always, be safe. Be excellent to each other. And together, we can bridge the divide.